And speaking of loving stuff, I also love it when manufacturers introduce new products in and around launch weeks. And I want to thank ScreenBeam for using launch week as a platform to introduce their new ScreenBeam Conference platform using the ScreenBeam 1100 series products. So I'm going to bring on two gentlemen from ScreenBeam, Jay and Mike. How are y'all doing today?
Doing well. Thank you for having us.
Well, I appreciate you being here. Congratulations on the product launch today. If you could introduce yourself, Mike, we should start with you, obviously. Why don't you introduce yourself, Jay, introduce yourself, and tell a little bit about what you do.
Sure. Mike Ellenberger. I'm the Vice President and General Manager for ScreenBeam Worldwide, and I help to drive our overall business strategy and a lot of the cool things coming up in our product roadmap.
And Jay?
I'm Jay Taylor. I run our technical marketing and our strategic partnerships alliances and have fun with all of that kind of stuff.
Well, a lot of people may not be familiar with ScreenBeam, but you probably have used one and maybe not realize you were using it, because ScreenBeam has been in the wireless sharing business for many, many years behind the scenes. And I guess 3 or 4 years ago, sort of had a coming out party with their own brand. Mike, that was where I think I first met you. Talk about what ScreenBeam's products are and what differentiates them, because let's be honest here. Let's just put it out there. The big company in wireless sharing has been Barca with the ClickShare product, but your product is designed quite a bit differently and has some unique integration, some patented stuff that other wireless sharing products can't do the way that you do them. So I think it's important that you explain that and what that differentiator is.
Right. Well, first of all, ScreenBeam is the company that co-invented Miracast technology. All those years ago, we worked with Intel to help develop the technology, both on the source and the sync side, and then ultimately brought that to the Wi-Fi Alliance and helped to create the technical work group, and then ultimately drive the standard through. And interestingly, ScreenBeam, at that time known as Action Tech Electronics, was the first company to actually bring out a Wi-Fi certified Miracast adapter, and subsequently, we formed a co-engineering partnership with Microsoft, which is a very unique designation. It's not, like an ISV or an open partner program that you can sign up for. We actually work with the operating systems group engineering team over at Microsoft to help advance, and perfect the wireless presentation experiences that are being driven out of Windows devices. But what that allowed us to do was to essentially embed the source technology into every Windows device that ships in the market, and then take it multiple steps further. You talked about, unique technologies. One of our very unique technologies has to do with collaboration and the enablement of native inking happening between a front of room touch panel display and a user's device that's wirelessly connected up through ScreenBeam.
Yeah, so why don't we have a demo video explaining the technology and explaining what ScreenBeam does. And so why don't we go ahead and run that really quickly so that people have an idea of sort of, and by the way, I want you to hear what Mike said. He was part of the group that invented Miracast. All of the wireless sharing devices use Miracast to do the wireless sharing. So he's got some unique IP here that drove him into where he is today. So Mike, what do you think? Should we run the demo video?
Let's run the demo video, and what you're going to see is ScreenBeam Conference. That's our big announcement today at launch. We have added video conferencing BYOM capabilities to our existing ScreenBeam 1100 Plus platform, and we think it's going to be a tremendous solution for all of our customers. But let's roll the video, and we'll come back and talk more.
Yeah, I'll ask you some questions about it. Yep.
Okay.
The team at ScreenBeam is excited to introduce you to ScreenBeam Conference, a new feature for the ScreenBeam 1100 Plus to drive collaboration in modern hybrid workplaces. Hi there, I'm Parker with ScreenBeam. Like most workplaces out there, we went through a lot of changes last year as we adapted to a remote-first workforce. As we look to the future, we see our offices as hubs for collaboration with both in-person and remote meeting participants. Enabling the hybrid workforce to be successful requires modern technologies that are flexible enough to be used in any space and simple enough to be used by every employee. Traditional UC room appliances lock employees into a single meeting platform, limiting choice and adding complexity. ScreenBeam 1100 Plus is built with our best-in-class native wireless display technology, which allows any user to bring their device into a meeting space and share content with a display without using cables, dongles, or other common contact points. ScreenBeam Conference takes the experience to the next level by enabling in-person participants to wirelessly connect not only to the display, but to in-room peripherals like a camera, microphone, and speakers. These in-room devices are fed back to the user's PC, allowing them to join meetings on any web conferencing platform using the in-room peripherals without the need for buttons, dongles, or cables. Now, in-person and remote meeting participants are fully engaged in the meeting. ScreenBeam Conference is a software-delivered solution. When someone is ready to get started, they open ScreenBeam Conference and have the option to connect to the display only or to the in-room peripherals as well, because we know that not every meeting is going to be a hybrid meeting. ScreenBeam supports custom device naming and configurable options for PIN requirements during connection. Once a user is connected to the display and the in-room peripherals, they can open whatever web conferencing platform the meeting requires and join the meeting. Users select the in-room equipment as the camera, microphone, and speakers when joining the meeting through their web conferencing platform. Oh, hey, Allison.
Hey, Allison.
Hey, Parker. Hey, David.
Now that the meeting has started, in-person and remote participants can collaborate, sharing content locally in the meeting space and with remote attendees through the web conferencing platform. Remote attendees can use the web conferencing platform to share content to the in-meeting display. ScreenBeam Conference supports many types of in-room peripherals and meeting platforms. ScreenBeam 1100 Plus provides organizations the flexibility to deploy ScreenBeam as a standalone web conferencing solution or as a supplement to an existing technology ecosystem, providing the ultimate solution to engage employees and drive collaboration in the hybrid workspace or classroom. The possibilities are endless, so check out ScreenBeam.com to learn more and reach out to our team today.
Okay, so a couple things. Obviously, this means you don't have to be tied to one UCC platform. We see the value of BYOM. The road's been paved there for you. You're coming in with a unique product in that you don't have to buy a new platform. You don't have to buy into a new wireless presentation product. If you're already a ScreenBeam 1100 Plus user, you get this upgrade basically free. Your price point is less than those that are out there competing with you, which I think is unique. You're obviously you're distributing. You've added Exertis as a distributor for the US and Canada. For the rest of the world, obviously, you've got distributors around the world. But my first question is with regard, this is the question I always get. I mean, I have to ask this question right off the bat. With regard to security in large networks and large corporations, they're not going to want to put anything on their network that isn't secure enough. And that's the first question I always get with wireless sharing. Go ahead and address that right off the bat.
Sure, I'll let Jay take it that one.
Sure. I mean, I think it's, security is on everybody's mind, right? It's absolutely vital to be able to put something on there in a safe and secure manner. And so what we've done at ScreenBeam is we've actually taken a multi-layered approach, right? So first is in the architecture. There's multiple ports and interfaces on this thing. And so they're completely air gapped and stuff. You can't hack your way through ScreenBeam onto the CorpNet, right? So the architecture is inherently secure by itself. Then you've got your connection level, your 802.1x, authentication protocols, industry standard stuff. Any data that's being transmitted across the wireless connection is AES and 128 encrypted. You have on-screen pin pairing. So this thing is an inherently secure device with multiple layers of security.
One of the big problems that we solved.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, one of the big problems that we solved, Gary, is when we started working with our corporate customers, we really understood, just like you said, security is a huge factor for them. And wireless presentation systems typically, have one network interface. And so you have to choose, am I going to deploy this on the corporate network or am I going to deploy it on the guest network? And there's a lot of challenges there. And so what other solutions propose is that you essentially tunnel between the guest network and the corporate network to give guests access. But IT departments are incredibly resistant to it. So that really slows down the deployment of these technologies and sometimes just stops them dead in our tracks. And so with ScreenBeam, it truly is a physical multi-network architecture. And like Jay said before, it's actually air gapped. So you will not be able to bridge traffic that's from the guest network over to the corporate network.
Yeah, in watching the video, I'm learning about this product as we go because I literally got the information on it at 6 a.m. this morning. But obviously this doesn't require an app. You don't have to download an app. You don't have to use an app to use it. That's a unique factor for it. You don't have any extra hardware. And from the video, you didn't talk about it in the video, but obviously they demonstrated that it is touch capable. So that two-way touch, it introduces two-way touch or keeps two-way touch, however you want to look at it, depending on the platform that you're using, into the UCC platform. Is that native into the ScreenBeam 1100 Plus conference product?
Yeah, touch capability is native. It's a enhancement that we developed with Microsoft, specifically around the Windows experience. And, touch is important because you have to be able to collaborate. We have to make it simple for people to walk into a meeting space, which, by the way, now could be a stand-up meeting space or something different than we knew before. And, we have to enable them to be able to collaborate. So we've been doing that for quite some time. And in fact, we have a technology patent pending called ghost inking, which actually gives you a true pen and paper experience. Gary, you may have seen that when you visited us at ISE.
Yeah, at ISE.
Yeah, and so that has been met with just tremendous response from our customers because it just eliminates, the delay that was creating this non-natural feel. But now it's all very, very natural. And then take that to the next level and bring in BYOM. What's happening now is as we return to work, people are going to be meeting, more of the meetings are going to be hybrid, right? You're going to have more of the in-person and remote participants together in meetings than ever before. And so we have to be able to take care of that experience in a very unique way and eliminate all the friction. And so by taking the ScreenBeam wireless presentation platform, layering in the BYOM and just building it into the architecture, and then taking advantage of things like touch and native inking capabilities, you can run whiteboarding applications, for instance. We do this all the time. We'll run Microsoft Whiteboard in our conference room. We have remote people participating, and we're annotating from the front of the room, and the remote participants are annotating from their device, in their homes or in their offices. And so it really is a game changer.
Yeah, that is a unique feature, and that I'll tell you, your patent on that is amazing. I actually got to see that firsthand. I'm excited to see it actually incorporated into a product because you sort of teased it when I saw it a year and a half ago. So is this a firmware upgrade or a software upgrade, or if you have an 1100 Plus already, how do you update it?
Yeah, so there's two components. So today we just released a major point release for ScreenBeam 1100 Plus, and that is available through our management platform, or it can be downloaded from our support site directly to the ScreenBeam. And then as well, there is a utility for the conferencing. So our wireless presentation is still all native, doesn't require any apps, but there is a utility software that is required for BYOM, and that too is also available. And I really want to point out that it's free. We're not charging for it. There's no subscriptions. There's no upgrades. The ScreenBeam 1100 Plus has always been $999. It continues to be $999. But now you're getting all this additional functionality and the ability to interface all this room equipment and light up these really wonderful experiences.
I have one last question, because obviously a lot of digital signage displays are now going to be used as collaboration displays and vice versa. We're now seeing digital signage inside of collaboration applications. How does the ScreenBeam 1100 Plus become a digital signage player at the same time, or how does that work?
Yeah, it does. Actually, we formed a partnership with Carousel recently because we've been looking for some more partners. And so we have multiple options when it comes to digital signage. The ScreenBeam, when it's in its ready to connect state, is you can point it at digital signage, and then there's some choices about how you want that digital signage to appear. And then once the room needs to be used again, once somebody tries to connect, it actually changes back to the front of room experience automatically and enables that connection.
Okay, yeah, you explained it perfectly. Those are all my questions. There are some questions that we're going to answer online for the people that are watching this online, and you have a team, obviously, on there answering as well. So hopefully we answered all these questions. Of course, you can go down to the bottom of the page. You can watch that video we just showed you again, or you can see more in-depth information by clicking on ScreenBeam or going to ScreenBeam.com and checking it out. Again, the ScreenBeam 1100 Plus. It's called ScreenBeam Conference. Technically, it can be integrated in the 1100 Plus. It's free, no extra fee. ScreenBeam is only $1,000, so it is the cheapest BYOM offer out there. Gentlemen, I appreciate you joining me. I appreciate all you do for the industry. I'm excited when we get back to live events. You'll both be at ISE and Infocom. Are you supporting ISE? You there?
Yeah, we'll be at both.
Good.